Welcome dear students. In this video, I'll be going to solve the previous year's question of CSIR UGC NET Life Science from 2011 June to 2020 June. The topic is cell signaling. So let's start. So this is the first question that has come in 2020 June, and the question is cyclic guanosine monophosphate is produced from GTP by the enzyme guanylate cyclase, which exists in soluble and membrane bound form. Questions actually come from the G protein couple receptor signaling pathway, and specifically I want to mention this question, the information actually is present in the book of Pollard, Cell Molecular Biology book of Pollard. So here it is very simple. If you know the fact, you can answer it, or if you don't know, you cannot answer. That is, the atrial natriuretic factor, that means ANF, always bind with the receptor that actually acts as a guanylate cyclase enzyme, always in the membrane bound form. So atrial natriuretic factor binds with membrane bound form. You can see here, this is the A option. The fourth option, D option, is totally opposite. Here it is stating that ANF causes natriuresis or diuresis. You don't have to remember what is this natriuresis or diuresis. Just remember that interacting with soluble form of guanylate cyclase, this is wrong information, because ANF do not bind with soluble form of guanylate cyclase. It is also always bind with the membrane bound guanylate cyclase. So option A is right, option D is wrong. Now option D wrong means the third option and fourth option is wrong. So now you have two options, 1 and 2. Now the question, the option B, nitroglycerin causes smooth muscle relaxation or vasodilation by interacting with soluble forms of guanylate cyclase. This is right, because nitric oxide, whenever you will find any name nitro, that means this molecule will bind with the soluble form of guanylate cyclase. That is the true. So B option is right and the C option is wrong, because nitroprusside, it is also a product of nitric oxide, so it will not bind with the membrane bound. So option A and B is correct. So this is the right option. Now in 2019 there is another questions from cell signaling, that is hormones act by producing or activating a variety of effectors intracellularly. If you don't know what is effectors, I have mentioned in the basic concept class of the cell signaling that what is effectors, and below are given variety of effects. So you have to match the column X with the column Y. Now I also do not know what is the which hormone like leptin, oxytocin and somatostatin, what they actually activates the effector molecules. I don't know the leptin, oxytocin, somatostatin, but I can solve these questions. How? Because I know what is performed by the IGF-1 and what is performed by the ANF. In my previous questions I have mentioned the atrial natriuretic factor actually helps in the production of CGMP. You can see here ANF helps in the production of CGMP. So I know that ANF is equals to CGMP. So B is always will be 5. Now you can see here I am trying my trick that I don't know the option 1, 3 and 5, the information about this hormone, but I know the IGF-1 and ANF. The first thing is CGMP is always produced by the atrial natriuretic factor. So B should be 4. Now here B is 2, so means this one option is wrong, and you can see here that another options B is equals to 4, so that could be right. B is equals to 4, that means it is also wrong because B should be 5. So these two options are wrong. Now here the third option is C is equals to 4. Actually I have mentioned that I don't know. CAMP is CAMP, cyclic adenosine monophosphate, is activated by somatostatin. I don't know, but I know that the receptor kinase is activated by IGF-1. That is true. I know that growth factor activates receptor tyrosine kinase. So this may be true. Now let's see what happens the fourth option, because first two option is wrong, because the CGMP B should be always 5. So here B2 and B4, these two options are wrong. Now 4 stating that the associated kinase is 2, but it is wrong, because associated kinase, that means JAK-STAT pathway always activated by cytokines and other hormones like growth hormone. It could be thrombopoietin or erythropoietin or prolactin, but it could not be IGF-1, insulin like growth factor. It could not be, because D option always go with 2. So here the fourth option is also wrong. So now you can see I don't know the information about leptin, oxytocin, somatostatin. By I know only these two options and I can attend these questions. So the option is third option. Okay. Now another questions. Here I can also use the trick because I don't know all the options. Like serotonin, what is performed by the serotonin? I know the option interferons because interferons is actually active the JAK-STAT pathway. I don't know about glycine, how it actually acts on the receptors, but I know the insulin because insulin can activate RTK pathway. Now let's see what happens. Here the options are binding activates the G protein which activates or inhibits the enzymes that generates a specific second messenger and opens in channels. So insulin will not do this, interferon will not do this. Let's see, I want to actually match this B and D, then I can find what is right. Binding causes receptor monomers to dimerize, dimeric receptors then interacts with and activates one or more cytosolic tyrosine kinases. Okay, this could be insulin or interferons because both the interferons and insulins actually activate receptor tyrosine kinase. So this could be the two. Now let's see what is here stating the third. Binding changes the conformation of the receptor so that specific ions flow through it. Another is binding leads to activation of intrinsic kinase activity. This point denotes that always D should be 4 because insulin activates RTK pathway, receptor tyrosine kinase that has intrinsic tyrosine kinase domain. Intrinsic, I have mentioned so many times in my RTK receptor tyrosine kinase cell signaling class. So D always 4. Now let's see where is D. D is 1, D is 2, D is 3. So all the options are wrong. If you know only these options, you don't have to remember these 3, serotonin, interferon and glycine. Don't have to remember, or if you don't know this fact, if you only know about the insulin, you can attend this question because this is the first option where D is 4. Other options are wrong. So the answer is 1 will be correct. So serotonin activates these interferons, right? It should be the tyrosine kinase, but it is associated. But here it is not mentioned the associated, but here the intrinsic kinase domain is actually mentioned, and glycine actually helps in the binding changes conformation of the receptor so that specific ions flow. Now I know about this fact, but I know the insulin very well and the interferon very well, so I can attend these questions. So you can also use your trick. If you know the one options very good, then you can attend. The fourth option come from also G protein coupled receptor. It is from the phototransductions or the effect of rhodopsins in the light. So I have also make a separate video on G protein coupled receptor of these rhodopsins. During prolonged illumination, rhodopsin is desensitized, which leads to termination of visual response. The associated proteins column 1 and their effects are given below. The first option is here phosphorylated opsin. If you don't know what is these opsins, you must watch my video on G protein coupled receptor on rhodopsin. So the phosphorylated opsin, let's see what is here, and rhodopsin kinase. Yes, rhodopsin kinase also always phosphorylates opsin. This is very simple. So B should be 1. Now let's see where is B 1. Let's see. Okay. Now you can see here that B option is 1 is present in 1. Only this option 3. So the rest of the option will be wrong because I know very clearly that rhodopsin kinase phosphorylates the opsins. So if you know the one option only, you can answer the questions. Now the option I have choice that this 3 option is right. Now let's see what is the answer. So phosphorylated opsins is 3. That means decreased activation of transducin, that is right. Rhodopsin kinase always phosphorylates opsin, that is true. Arrestin binds with the phosphorylated opsin, that is true. That means C2 is correct. And phosphatase reverse the termination process, that is also true. So the option 3 will be the correct right option. And if you know only this fact, rhodopsin kinase phosphorylates opsin, then you can attend these questions. Very simple. Let's see what is this. Okay, this is actually come from the bacterial chemotaxis. This is also included in the cell signaling of CSIR net examinations. Here it is stating that the bacterial chemotaxis response is mediated by histidine kinase associated receptors, that is true, that activate a 2-component signaling pathway which enables chemotaxis receptor to control the flagellar motors. When bacteria move towards attractant, they produce smooth swimming by rotating flagella counterclockwise. This is true. I want to mention here that this information, this bacterial chemotaxis and 2-component system actually taken from this information taken from the book of Pollard. Okay, I have found the information from Pollard. So, and whereas when bacteria move away from repellent, they produce increased tumbling by rotating flagella clockwise. This is actually a true statement. Now, which of the following characteristic regarding chemocatalysis receptor is not true? You have to find the incorrect options. Now, let's see. The receptors are dimeric transmembrane proteins that bind specific attractants and repellent on the outside of the plasma membrane. That is true. The cytoplasmic tail of the receptor is stably associated with the histidine kinase GA via an adapter protein GW. That is also true. The receptor and its associated proteins are all clustered at one end of the cells. That is true. Now the fourth option is only actually wrong option. The binding of an attractant increase the activity of the receptor, whereas binding of repellent decrease the activity. This is wrong options. So 4 option is wrong, and I want to actually recommend you the book of Pollard for this information. Now let's see what happens in 2018. These questions come in 2018 December and now 2018 June. G protein coupled receptors are used to respond to many different types of signals, including neurotransmitter hormones involving glycogen and fat metabolism and even photons of light. That is true. Which of the following statement regarding GPCR is incorrect? Now you have to find another incorrect options. G protein coupled receptor, a large family of a common structure of 7 membranes spanning alpha helix. That is true. G protein coupled receptors are coupled to trimeric G proteins comprising 3 subunit alpha, beta, gamma. That is true. The G alpha subunit is a GTPase switch protein that alternates between an active on state when bound GTP and inactive when GTP. That is true option. Now let's see, that is also actually fourth option will be wrong. That is the on form gets bound to beta gamma subunit. You all know that when G alpha actually gets on, that means when associated with GTP, it actually leaves the beta gamma, not bound with this beta gamma. So this is actually wrong option. And active as a membrane bound effector like adenine cyclase and PLC or iron gamma. That is all right, true, but this bound is not will be the correct option. So fourth option is wrong. So this is actually come in 2018 June. Now 2017 December. What has come? Let's see. In a type of signal transaction pathway, ligand binding to a receptor triggers activation of receptor associated kinase. What is the meaning? Receptor associated kinase? That means it could be JAK-STAT pathway, because in case of receptor tyrosine kinase pathway, the kinase activity is intrinsic. Okay, intrinsic property of the receptor. This kinase may be an intrinsic part of the receptor, that is true, or tightly bound to the receptor, that is in case of JAK-STAT pathway, cytokine receptor. Receptors in which tyrosine kinase is an intrinsic part of the polypeptide chain is called the receptor tyrosine kinase. I have mentioned already. Which one of the following statements regarding RTK is incorrect? Then you again you have to find the incorrect option. Let's see. The first option states that all RTKs have 3 essential components: an extracellular domain containing ligand binding site, that is true, a transmembrane domain, and a cytoplasmic domain segment that includes a domain with protein kinase activity. That is true. Second option is most RTKs are monomeric and ligand binding to the extracellular domain induces formation of receptor trimers. That is true. All cytokine receptors belong to RTKs. That is wrong actually. I have mentioned all cytokines actually related with JAK-STAT pathway. I have made separate video on JAK-STAT pathway. So cytokine binding activates tyrosine kinase and receptor dimerization. That is wrong. And the ligand binding to RTK leads to autophosphorylation and the protein tyrosine kinase in the cytoplasmic domain. The associated activated kinase then phosphorylates several tyrosine residues in the receptor cytoplasmic domain. That is true. So the third option is incorrect. So this is in the 2017 December. So these questions come in 2017 June, and the question is preventing the blocking action of patched protein. Patch means this signaling actually hedgehog signaling. Protein leads to activation of COS2, which dissociates itself from microtubules, activates CI and GLI, which binds to CBP, that means CTEP binding protein, and promotes transcription of target genes. Which of the following treatments of cell will mostly prevent CI or GLI activated transcription in cells? Small molecules which target Frizzled. Is it true? No, Frizzled is actually associated with WNT signaling, so this is actually wrong option. Agipine, an inhibitor of gamma secretase. This is also not true because it is notch signaling. In notch signaling, gamma secretase is required, but it is actually the hedgehog signaling. So cyclopamine, which binds to heptahelical bundle of smoothen. This is the actually correct option because smoothen is associated with hedgehog, and cyclopamine is actually alkaloid found in a plant that is called meadow lily. This actually this chemical can block the functioning of smoothen. Okay, And now the CDK blockers which negatively regulate TGF-beta induced, so this is not also TGF-beta signaling pathway. So very simple. If you know what is smoothened and then the patch signaling pathway, that means Hedgehog pathway, you can answer these questions. Now in the 2017 June, where it is also 2017 June. This question actually from the G protein coupled receptor signaling pathway. The second messenger CAMP, cyclic adenosine monophosphate, synthesized by adenylyl cyclase, transduces a wide variety of physiological signals in various cell types. In mammalian cells, most of the diverse effects of CAMP are mediated through activation of PKA, also called the CAMP dependent protein kinase. That is true. Which of the following statements regarding PKA is not correct? You have to choose the incorrect options. So inactive PKA is tetramer consisting of 2 regulatory subunits. That is true. 2 catalytic subunits, true. Each R subunit binds the active site in a catalytic domain, that is true, and inhibits the activity of the catalytic subunits, true. Each R subunit has 2 distinct CAMP binding sites, true. Binding of CAMP occurs in a cooperative fashion, true. Then the last option 4 is actually, this is wrong, because binding of CMP to R subunit causes a conformational change resulting in the binding to site other than catalytic sites. That is actually totally wrong, because when R subunits bind with the CAMP, it releases the catalytic subunit. It cannot bind, it will not bind with the catalytic subunit with another site. It is not true, causing strengthening of the binding to C subunit activating with its kinase activity. So this is wrong options. Now let's see, in 2016 June, very simple questions has come in part C. If you know this is very simple. FGF means growth factor. I have already told you that growth factor means receptor tyrosine kinase. So 1 will be C. Let's see, I can solve this. 1C, 1C, 1A, 1B. So the 2 and 3rd option is wrong. So now 1 and 4th option should be right. Now let's see Hedgehog. Hedgehog I have recently mentioned, that is patch. So 2 will be A. So 2A, 2A, this 2A, 2B, wrong. So 1 option is correct. Very simple. WNT, Frizzled, 3B. Okay. Now let's see, in the 2015 December, G protein coupled receptor GPCR consists of 3 protein subunits alpha, beta, gamma, right? In unstimulated state, alpha subunit is GDP bound and GPCR is inactive, true. When GPCR gets activated, it acts like guanine nucleotide exchange factor, totally right, and induces alpha subunit to release its bound GTP, allowing GTP to bind in this place, good, right. In order to regulate G protein activity by regulating GDP and GTP concentration, alpha subunit acts as, you know, the G alpha protein acts as a GT page, because G alpha has an intrinsic property of GT page, not GDP kinase, CGMP specific phosphodiesterase do not, it is not phosphodiesterase. Phosphodiesterase are other enzyme, it is actually a GT page. Very simple questions. Okay. Now another questions from the rhodopsin. When rods of retina kept in dirt were exposed to light, phototransaction occurred. Following us some explanation given by a researcher regarding phototransaction. Activation of transducins, yes. Inhibition of CGMP phosphodiesterase, is it true? No. In case of phototransaction, for CGMP phosphodiesterase actually activated. So option B is wrong. So where is option B? Only 2. So this is wrong option, and you have to choose the wrong option, the which one did not occur in phototransaction. So the second option is right, because inhibition of CGMP phosphodiesterase do not occur. Actually CGMP phosphodiesterase actually activated. Closure of sodium channels occur, right. Hyperpolarization of rod occur, that is true. So the option 2B is wrong, so 2 option will be right. Another time 2014, you can see the it actually come from the rhodopsin G protein coupled receptor. I have made separate video on GPCR rhodopsins. You can watch the video. Upon prolonged illuminations, activated rhodopsin does not activate transducing, hence the vision is impaired. This could be caused because of the following explanation. Let's study. Most of the activated rhodopsin gets phosphorylated, true, and is unable to active transducin, true. Most of the activated rhodopsin gets dephosphorylated, no. Actually they get phosphorylated. So option A is right, option B is incorrect. So these 2 options is not true. So maybe 1 or 3. Let's see what happens. The C option, aspirin further interacts with phosphorylated rhodopsin, that is true C, and the aspirin further interacts with dephosphorylated rhodopsin, that is wrong option. So A and C right, that means 1 is correct options. You can see here. Okay, the question 14, that means 2015 June. The questions here is, of the following signaling pathway there are 4 picture process, which one is not involved in cellular movement or cytoskeleton changes. So you have to choose the options which is not involved in cellular movement. You can see it is epithelial mesenchymal transition, EMT, or metastasis. When cancer cell or tumor cells migrate from one position to another, it is called EMT, epithelial mesenchymal transition. This requires cytoskeleton exchange, actually rearrangement or cell movement. So one option is not true. Then you can see here the option Rho. Rho is actually a RAS family member which actually helps in the cytoskeleton rearrangement. So it is also not true. Now this is actually called cadherin, because in cadherin there are 5 subunits, and the second subunit can bind with the calcium. There should be one another domain, and then beta, these are the catenin. So if you have seen this structure, you know this is called cadherin. And cadherin is actually a adhesion molecule, so it is also involved in cytoskeleton. Now only this option, that is RAP-MAP kinase pathway, you can see here, this is not actually associated with cytoskeleton. So the fourth option is wrong because it is not involved in cellular movement. So answer would be 4. This is very important. Okay, let's see. In the 2013, in cells having G protein coupled receptor, GPCR inhibition of protein kinase A by siRNA. Now you are inhibiting the protein kinase A, led to diminished transcription of, let's suppose, ABP and CREP proteins. Now addition of CAMP, which is a second messenger, will lead to increased transcription of ABP, increased phosphorylation of CREP proteins, no change in transcription level, increased GT-page activity of G-alpha subunit. What should be the answer? The very simple fact is, when you use siRNA, then protein kinase A will not be produced. But if you add CAMP, then there is no result, because CAMP actually activates PK. But in this system there is no PK. So how the transcription level will change? So the option 3 will be the right option. No change in the transcription level because there is no PK, because you have silenced the expression of this PK by siRNA. Very simple fact. Okay. Now another thing is, these questions also come in 2013 June. Binding of a ligand to a cell surface receptor activates an intracellular signal transduction pathway through the sequential activation of protein kinases. True. In the human cell line A, these kinases are held in signaling complex by a scaffolding protein. You should notice this name, scaffolding proteins. Whereas in another cell line B, these kinases are freely diffusible. Which one of the following possibilities do you think is not correct? Which should be not correct? So speed of signal transduction will be higher in cell A. This is actually true. This is true because the speed will be higher because the scaffolding protein helps in the signaling fast signal transduction. This is true. Possibility of cross-linking with other signal transduction pathway will be lesser in the cell A. This is actually true because in case of scaffold proteins, this actually the cross-linking actually do not occur very well. Possibility of signal amplification will be higher in cell A. This is wrong. No, this do not occur. And the potential of spreading signals through other signaling pathways will be higher in B cells. This is true options. Fourth option is, so the wrong option is 3rd. So I want to mention here that just by looking these questions you cannot solve it. You have to see my all cell signaling pathway, then you can solve these questions. And you have to actually read some books. I actually give the preparation, and you can join my class also. Now this is the questions from 2012. You should know this fact about this epidermal growth factor, that epidermal growth factor, when actually, let's actually read the questions at first. Epidermal growth factor is needed for growth of almost all cells. True. EGF receptor is a transmembrane protein having an extracellular ligand binding domain. Is true. A transmembrane domain and cytosolic domain of protein kinase RTK. That is true. This is RTK. Okay. Binding of EGF to the receptor activates RTK, resulting in activation of transcription factors through intracellular transduction. True. In a cell type A, much of the extracellular ligand binding domain is deleted. This is the actually region you have to focus. When the receptor of the EGF is actually deleted in the extracellular ligand domain, what happens? Cytosolic domain of RTK becomes constitutively active, whereas cell type B is having normal EGF receptors. What will be the best fit graph for the growth of the cultures of the cell type A and B in complete medium, the presence of plus or minus of the EGF? Now the very basic concept is that if you actually digest or delete the extracellular ligands binding domain in a cell type A, then the receptor becomes constitutively active. So now if you add the EGF or if you not add the EGF, if you add or not, the result will be same. The A graph will be always higher, constitutively active. You can see here A here positive and negative, EGF here low. This should not be the case in this scenario, because type A cells has the deletion in the extracellular ligand binding domain, so it becomes now in constitutively active. So this is the actually right answer, because here you can see A is below, A is low. This should normally be the case. The A should be always high, because in this case this actually occurs. This is called actually in case of this EGF receptor deletions, it actually cause cancer. So to solve this question, you have to join my class. You cannot solve this question by just looking these questions. And actually I want to mention that if you self study, if you do your self study, you can also do, but you have to then actually refer with 6 books. I want to mention the 6 book name is, the name of the 6 books are, I am mentioning here: Bruce Albert, Lodis, these are all molecular cell biology book. Lodis, Pollard, Lewin Cell, and there are books like Cooper, and there is another book called Karp. You must follow these 6 books for the information to attend these questions. Actually, the main book you should read, that is Lodis, Bruce Albert, and you should actually collect the information from Pollard, Lewin cells, Cooper and Karp. So those who cannot actually join my class or any other class, if you want to self study, do your self study and want to qualify the NET examination for the molecular cell biology, I will recommend these 6 books. Actually the unit 2nd and unit 4 actually cover this molecular cell biology. So this is very important. So you must actually refer this book for your informations. Okay, now let's see. This is another question that is from 2011 December. Insulin and other growth factors stimulate a pathway involving protein kinase mTOR. I have already made a separate video on mTOR, mammalian target rapamycin, which in turn augments protein synthesis. mTOR essentially modifies proteins which is their unmodified form, acts as inhibitors of protein synthesis. The following proteins, if you know this, you can answer. This is the right answer, EIF4-EBP, because this is the inhibitor. And the first one is this is actually the inhibitor in case of mouse. In case of human, this is the option. So the B and D option is right. So the option 2 will be correct answer. Okay, the last question in 2011, that is glucose is mobilized in muscles when epinephrine activates G-alpha, right? In an experiment in which muscle cells were stimulated with epinephrine, glucose mobilization was observed even after withdrawal of epinephrine. So what would this could be? Due to the presence of CAMP phosphodiester PDE inhibitor, very low rates of CAMP formations, due to the presence of CAMP PDE activator, due to the presence of absence of PK. What should be the answer? Do you know? The answer would be 1, because if you inhibit the PDE, that means more CAMP will remain, more CAMP, because PDE actually cleave CAMP to AMP. So if you inhibit this enzyme, then the signaling will remain. Very low rates of CAMP performance is wrong due to the presence of CAMP activator. This is actually totally wrong, because if you activate PDE, then CAMP will not remain, and due to the absence of PK, this is also wrong. This is the right option, because PK helps in this signaling pathway. So hope this video will help you. Thank you for watching, and always keep learning.